Imagine sailing across the Atlantic to rescue your family, only to find an entire colony gone. No bodies, no battle, no graves, no survivors. Just one mysterious word carved into a wooden post. Croatoan. More than 100 men, women, and children had vanished without a trace. Were they killed? Did they join indigenous communities? Or did something even stranger happen? More than 4 centuries later, historians still debate one of America's oldest and greatest unsolved mysteries. Tonight, we follow every clue left behind. And by the end of this documentary, you may see the Lost Colony of Roanoke in a completely different light. Before we dive deeply, kindly subscribe to my page, follow, like, and share for more hidden history, untold stories, and fascinating historical mysteries. The year is 1584. Spain dominates much of the Americas. Its treasure fleets carry gold and silver across the Atlantic. England watches with growing ambition. Queen Elizabeth I wants colonies of her own, not only for wealth, but for military advantage. Privateers could attack Spanish shipping. Trade could flourish. England could expand its influence. One of the men leading this vision was Sir Walter Raleigh. He never personally visited Roanoke, but he sponsored expeditions to establish England's first permanent foothold in North America. The stakes were enormous. Failure would embarrass the crown. Success could change history. Explorers reached the coast of present-day North Carolina. They found barrier islands, forests, rivers, and abundant wildlife. The landscape appeared promising. Early encounters with indigenous peoples were mixed. Some meetings were friendly and involved exchanges of gifts. Others became tense as misunderstandings and competing interests grew. Despite these challenges, English leaders believed they had found the perfect place for a colony. In 1585, an early settlement struggled and was eventually abandoned. But England refused to give up. A second attempt would follow. This one would include families, not just soldiers. It was intended to become a true community. In 1587, around 115 settlers arrived. Women, children. Among them was Eleanor Dare. Soon she gave birth to a daughter, Virginia Dare, widely remembered as the first English child born in North America. For a brief moment, hope filled the colony. Homes were built, fields prepared, dreams took shape. Yet beneath the optimism lay serious problems. Food was limited. Supplies were running low. Relations with some nearby indigenous groups had become strained. The settlers needed help. Quickly, Governor John White made a difficult decision. He would sail back to England for supplies. The trip was supposed to take only a few months. Instead, war intervened. England faced the threat of the Spanish Armada. Ships were redirected. Years passed. White desperately tried to return. His family remained across the ocean, including his granddaughter, Virginia Dare. Finally, in 1590, he reached Roanoke. Nothing could prepare him for what he found. The settlement was silent. No voices, no smoke, no children, no signs of recent life. The houses had been dismantled rather than destroyed. The fortifications had been carefully removed. There were no obvious signs of battle, no mass graves, no scattered weapons, no evidence of panic. Instead, White discovered 2 carvings. One read, Croatoan. Another, carved as Sio, appeared on a nearby tree. Years earlier, the colonists had agreed on a simple plan. If they relocated voluntarily, they would carve their destination. If they left under immediate danger, they would also carve a Maltese cross. There was no cross. Was this a message? Or a clue leading to the colony's fate? Many historians consider the most likely explanation to be integration with the Croatoan people who lived on nearby Hatteras Island. Some historical accounts describe friendly relations between parts of the colony and the Croatoan community. Later English reports mentioned indigenous communities whose traditions suggested interactions with English settlers. Archaeological discoveries have uncovered European artifacts at indigenous sites, though scholars debate exactly what these finds mean. Could the settlers have survived by joining their neighbors? If so, the colony did not disappear. It transformed. Other researchers propose a different possibility. Perhaps some settlers attempted to move inland. They may have sought more fertile land or safer locations. Maps associated with John White contain intriguing markings that some historians interpret as possible references to a planned inland fort. Archaeological investigations continue. Artifacts recovered from inland locations have generated debate, but no discovery has definitively solved the mystery. One often overlooked fact is that the phrase "Lost Colony" can be misleading. The people were lost to history, not necessarily lost immediately after Roanoke was abandoned. The strongest evidence available today suggests that at least some settlers may have survived beyond 1590. The real mystery is not whether every colonist vanished overnight. It is where they ultimately went and how their story ended. Over the centuries, extraordinary theories have emerged. Some claimed the settlers were massacred. Others suggested starvation claimed them. Legends introduced pirates, secret rescues, hidden treasure, and even supernatural explanations. These stories capture the imagination, but historians rely on evidence. At present, no single theory has been conclusively proven. The debate continues because the surviving records are incomplete, and archaeology continues to uncover new clues. Excavations on Hatteras Island have uncovered English pottery, tools, and other artifacts. Separate excavations on the mainland have also produced objects from the late 16th century. Researchers disagree on what these discoveries represent. Trade? Migration? Multiple settlement sites? The evidence suggests a more complicated story than a single dramatic disappearance. History rarely provides simple answers. The famous mystery may never have been about an entire colony vanishing. It may instead be about cultures meeting, adapting, and surviving in ways later generations failed to record. The legend of a sudden disappearance may have overshadowed a quieter, more human story of resilience. Sometimes history becomes mysterious not because nothing happened, but because too few records survived. For more than 400 years, one carved word has fueled books, documentaries, expeditions, and debates. Croatoan. A single clue. A single unanswered question. Perhaps the colonists found a new home. Perhaps they scattered into several communities. Perhaps future archaeological discoveries will finally reveal the truth. Or perhaps some mysteries survive because history leaves only fragments behind. The Lost Colony of Roanoke reminds us that the past is not always silent. Sometimes it whispers, and it waits for someone to listen. Imagine archaeologists uncovered a diary tomorrow, written by one of the missing colonists. What do you think it would reveal? Would it confirm survival, conflict, or a story no one has imagined? Comment your theory below. And subscribe for more hidden history, archaeological mysteries, forgotten civilizations, and the greatest unsolved stories from the past. Please don't forget to subscribe to my page, follow, like, and share for more hidden history, untold stories, and fascinating historical mysteries.